Hello, everybody. Um, I wanted to come to you today. This is not going to be a continuation of our study in Ephesians. We God gave me a devotional Wednesday night as I was preparing for the lesson Wednesday night, and I used it Wednesday night. It kept rolling around in my head on Thursday, and Friday morning it just poured out onto paper, and I think it's something, usually when God does something like that with me, it's something that he wants his people to hear. And so and when it just flows like that, I know it's something from the Lord. And so based on past experience, this is something that God wants you to hear. If it applies to you, take it. If it doesn't apply to you, file away because one day it probably will. But I wanted to ask you, if you ever have days where there are just so many things to do, you don't know what to do first. You don't even know if you're going to get them all done. The days where everything's screaming at you, I'm important. Take care of me first. No, take care of me first. And you don't know which way to turn. And when we have those kinds of days, we get frustrated. We get anxious, don't we? We stress out. We get uptight. We don't get as much done as we planned or as we really need to, if we get anything done at all. Well, there's a story in the Bible that addresses those kinds of days, and it gives us a principle to live by. It's in Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. And I'm going to be reading from the English Standard Version. Verse 38 says, Now as they went on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her then to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. So here's the setup. Jesus had been welcomed into the house of Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, good friends of his. Martha is bustling around. She's making preparations for the meal. There's a lot to do when you prepare a meal. You got to set the table, make the stew, warm the bread, pour the wine, all that stuff. And those things are all important. They need to be done. But Mary, her younger sister, is sitting at the feet of Jesus, just hanging on every word that comes out of his mouth. And Martha's getting frustrated. She tells the Lord, Lord, I'm running around frantically, making sure everything is done, and she's just sitting on her backside. She's not doing anything. Make her help me. And Jesus told Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Now let's stop right there. Does that sound familiar? Do you have days where you are anxious and troubled about many things? I know I do. But Jesus told Martha, one thing is necessary. And Mary had figured that out. There's a scene in the movie City Slickers where Billy Crystal and Jack Palance are talking about life issues. And Jack Palance says, do you know what the secret of life is? Billy Crystal says no, and Palance holds up his index finger and he says, this. Billy Crystal says, your finger? And Palance said, no, one thing. You stick to that, and everything else don't mean nothing. Billy Crystal thought about it for a second, and he said, well, what's the one thing? And Palance smiled and said, that's what you have to figure out. Mary had it figured out. The most important thing for us to do each day is to be with Jesus through his word, through prayer, through meditation. If we daily cultivate that relationship, everything else just somehow falls into place. Now, I'm not saying there won't be hectic days. There won't be busy days. There won't be days that everything is vying for your attention. But we won't be anxious and troubled about many things. When you spend time at the feet of Jesus, nothing else matters. Anyway, I just wanted to remind you, make sure you take care of that one thing. God bless.